Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of E-Electric Productions. I'm Jay, and today we're going to be playing a little gem by the name of Startide, a top-down 2.5D mech space shooter. Roll intro. Okay, so what is Startide? Well, let's take a quick look here at the main menu. There's not much in the way of options. You've got bloom, MSAA, full screen, resolution choices, audio tweakers. You can choose between gamepad and mouse and keyboard. I've been playing with the gamepad and it's been a very enjoyable experience. However, just know going in, if you choose the gamepad, you're still going to need your mouse for certain menu options. Workshop is where you can download other people's creations, and those creations are created in the Constructor. So let's jump into the Constructor here real quick. So this is a really neat aspect of this game that I really dig. I love this. I think it's brilliant. I'm not aware of too many other games that do this. I'm sure there's variations of this that other games have done. I just can't think of any off the top of my head right now is all. So let's flip this. So what I'm doing here, there we go, is I am building a craft that we can place online for other people to download from the workshop and play against. These parts are actually unlocked. Oops. As you play the main story missions, the adventure missions, you unlock new parts that you can then place inside of your creation, or place on your creation to be more accurate. And I am just going kind of crazy here, just creating something really quick. And I was hoping that'd be able to interconnect, but it can't, so let's just delete that piece. Let's delete this piece too. We're just going to bring this to some quick finality here so that we can test it out. There we go. And let's go into weapons, and let's outfit this guy with a few weapons. I find the editor to be intuitive enough. It doesn't give me a whole lot of issues. I notice sometimes it requires you to be a little bit clicky to click out of things, to grab new things, and I'm not too crazy about having to kind of click and then click out of the creation and then click onto the space environment in the background just so that you can grab another item. I would have done things a little bit differently, but you know what? That's okay. It works just fine, and I'm gonna throw a couple more weapons on here really fast, and then we'll test it out really quick. Let's grab one of these guns. So when you get done, you can go ahead and you can hit test over here on the side menu. Excuse me. And it allows you to jump in and see what other players will see when they play against your creation. And it's going to come from the top of the screen. There we go. So we can see that this particular creation has a pretty heavy frontal assault. However, the weakness that we've built in here, whether intentionally or unintentionally, intentionally in this case as an example, position is everything in this game. You can't control how the creation will turn to fight the enemy. So if you have something that has a huge barrage of weaponry that is... There we go. If you create something that has a huge barrage of weaponry that's just, you know, all aiming in one direction, you're going to run into some issues and some problems there because they can get behind your creation and wipe it out fairly quickly. So it's really important to have your weaponry kind of aiming off in all directions and to be thinking about what kind of interactions another player is going to have with your creation depending on how they place themselves in relationship to it. So you can turn weapons different directions. So you're kind of trying to anticipate how other people are going to play against your creation and find ways to overwhelm them where it's going to bring their health down and obviously destroy them. So I'm not going to save this one or anything. I've actually created and uploaded a couple of my own. It is a really cool concept. I absolutely love the Constructor. Mech setup's pretty simple. I've got 2 mechs unlocked. I've got Talos and I've got Junker. And then there are these different drivers in the game that you can apply to your mech, and they have all a active driver effect, where if you put them in the top row here, a sub driver effect if you put them in the secondary row, and a passive driver effect, which one item can have its passive effect. So I'm using my passive effect right now to boost my ranged attacks. And then I've got a deflection shield, which I can turn on that'll bounce back bullets. And I've got a system overload that'll shut down the boss's main weapon system for a little while. And then as a sub effect, I can add regeneration of hull damage. So when this deflection shield is turned on, the sub effect will be some regeneration of my hull. So you can tactically load out your mech and tweak it to create the ultimate mech. Infinity mode's the only mode I'm not crazy about, and it is just an endless boss mode where it continues to throw randomly generated, procedurally generated bosses at you, and you just fight against them for a high score attack. I just don't find it to be terribly rewarding. It's fun for a little while, but the fact that there's no end to be reached and you can't unlock anything in it, it's not as rewarding as the rest of the game. So I've done a few missions, so let's jump back in here. And so for each star system that you go to, or each sector, there's different little collections of planets. So for example here, right now, we're in this what do they call it here, sector. So we're in this sector here, and when I click on one of these clusters, so Menkar is a collection of probably 3 planets. Nope, just 2 in this case. And then you can click on each planet and run the mission associated with that planet. So let's go ahead. Let's move to this new sector. It says, "Human, how dare you enter our system without permission? My name is Startide, and I'm the captain of one of the greatest fleets in Exar conglomerate forces. Prepare well. This will be a lesson I'm going to teach you. No more talk. Units prepare for battle. Enemy nearby." So, the story in the game, I like the little artworks that they have for the different characters, creatures, what have you. But the story is forgettable. I have found myself just clicking through. It's nice that they include it. That's awesome. But for me, it's the action that I'm really enjoying. So I do find myself clicking through the story rather quickly. So the little energy pods that you see falling off there restore my special meter, my shield meter rather, sorry, and your driver meter, which is the yellow bar at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. It recharges as you rack up damage and as you pick up those pods as well. And then once you have filled your meter, incoming meteors. So the nice thing is we actually beat the boss fast enough that we didn't have to do the secondary event, which was dodging meteors. We probably will on this one, because I'm guessing this boss is going to be a little bit bigger. Whoa, he got me right out of the gate there. I love the 2.5D backgrounds. I really enjoy top-down space shooters. They're a lot of fun. A lot of space shooters have you kind of going in a plane from what I would say start to finish. You start at the beginning area, you go in a straight line, enemies and ground-based forces, if it's a mission that has, a solid surface in the background. You go through, you fight, and you reach the end. This game, it's more like being in an open plane, and I kind of like that. Some missions have the aspect of kind of a start/finish line to them, but a lot of them just take place in what feels like an open battleground. And I really, really like that. So here we're trying to dodge meteors. They do a lot of damage to your health. Those 2 little hits have halved my health. Excuse me. And as you can see, that every ship that's procedurally generated has different appendages, and on those appendages are weapon systems. You can't do damage to the base enemy until you have eliminated the limbs. And as far as the limbs go, it is better to work from the outside of the limbs inward. If you try to attack the base of the limb, they will soak up far more damage than if you go from the outside in. So case in point, and this ship's not the best example because it keeps everything pretty close, but I'm trying to attack this inside limb here, and it will soak up a lot of damage before it is destroyed, versus if I go to the outside here, I can wipe these out. I'm going to pop my bubble here. I can wipe them out fairly quickly. Let's get rid of that missile pod. And another cool little aspect of this game is if you get close to an enemy, you don't have to hit anything, but you will actually deploy a melee attack against the enemy. Now the only thing is, I'm a little disappointed. It seems like the melee attacks don't do just as much damage as I would expect them to, because with having to get so close to the enemy, you open yourself up to a lot of possible damage. So I would think that the melee attacks would do really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my shield here and get close so you can actually see that melee attack hard at work. It's not that it doesn't do damage, it just doesn't do as much as I would have thought. Let's grab these energy pods so that we can recharge our shields here, especially with our health being on the low side. And I went ahead, and what I did is I had activated there at the very end my secondary special, which shuts down the enemy's offensive capabilities for a few seconds. So, you know, you stem the tide of incoming fire. Okay, and there's a fourth battle on this one. And some of the enemies get pretty wild, and you really have to start using your special abilities. So this is a perfect example. I'm sitting here attacking the middle of the limb, and you can see how long it's taking for me to destroy stuff. Versus if I go for the outside limbs, they should pop pretty quick here. There it goes. This guy's got a lot more energy, or a lot more health, I should say. Oh man, took another hit there. I found the backgrounds to be well done. They're very pretty. There's one level type in particular that I'm not too fond of, and that's where the stuff in the background that you can't even hit or touch, it's really obtrusive, and it looks like you can run into these like tall obelisks, and you can't hit them, but as you're sitting there focusing on fighting the enemies, you keep feeling like you're going to run into these things. And since there are environmental dangers in the game, like meteors, it's very tempting to think that, oh man, if I hit these, it's going to do a lot of damage. So it's a little off-putting, but you get used to it, and that's just more of a nitpick anyway. It's not really a big deal. You quickly learn that you can't run into the background, and yeah. But I think that the backgrounds are very well done, very pretty. I wouldn't say that this game is a graphical powerhouse or anything, because it's not, but it's not a bad-looking game, and it definitely gets the job done. I think that the creators of the game, which, by the way, the makers of the game is Swimming Scorpions, and I believe it's produced by Forever Entertainment. Forever Entertainment does have quite a few games posted up on Steam. They range from a lot of different developers, and they range from good to okay to bad. So it looks like they kind of hit a little bit of a lucky break here with this game, because I think this game is very good. I really, really like it. There we go. Cleared number 4. So at the end of each planetary mission, you unlock new parts. So this is a big one here, because this is a main body part for a boss that we can create in the Constructor. Break cargo ships and steel containers. So with this one, I had mentioned earlier how some missions do sort of have like a start and finish line, so to speak, and you're moving forward rather than just being in an open plane. This one has more of a feeling of kind of an actually moving in a direction and a start and finish line, so to speak. And that is because, man, we are just getting bombarded here. The purpose of these missions are you want to collect those crates. And these big pods here will release a ton of crates, and it's worth it to us to kind of get in there and take a little damage just to pick up those crates, because as soon as you gather the quantity of required crates, then that's when the mission ends. The mission will run out, hence the start and finish line. If you go too far without collecting crates, you will reach a point where the level is over and you will have failed the level. So you kind of have to... There we go. You have to be aggressive enough to get in there and actually attack the main body parts of the ship so that you can have those big cargo holds release their cargo and you can pick it up. We're probably getting pretty close here. And you want to keep grabbing the little energy pods that drop as well, because that keeps your shield level up. Your health goes really, really quick. There we go. And I like to pop my shield there when I'm going in to pick up the crates, because I don't want to have to worry about dodging fire when I'm just trying to collect all of those. Oh boy. Huh, that was weird. They didn't let me pick up that one. But it doesn't matter, because we're about to blow this, and that's game. Looks like there might be multiple rounds to this one. Nope, that's it. We've unlocked a new skill for our mecha. That's awesome. So the skills are one of the more fun parts of the game, in my opinion. So let's see what the skill is. The active one is to deal more damage in melee attacks. And the sub-driver effect is a shorter driver cooldown. And the passive driver effect, stronger melee attacks. So stronger versus more damage, but it doesn't matter because we're going to treat this one as a sub-driver. So shorter driver cooldown, and I actually want to take that. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to put it with my shield so that that will cool down faster. And I'm going to put the health regen when I shut down the enemy's attacks. Okay, and let's grab one more here. Explore ruins of an ancient... Okay, now these are really easy. The exploratory missions, you click start, and that's it. They're that simple. They're kind of gimmies. And we got some new parts for boss construction. So let's back out here. And at that point, we've completed this little cluster here, and we can choose another cluster. Now that's red, so it's connected to the Xana quadrant, whatever. And this one we can't get either, so we're going to Volska. And we've got 4 planets here, so let's just grab one more. Loot abandoned frigate. Okay, that was just one of those. Destroy the enemy fleet. Yeah, the artwork in the game is good. Whether it's the 2D drawings of characters or the ships. I'm super impressed. The game controls really well. It's a lot of... Okay, so these are the backgrounds that I was talking about. It looks like you could hit them. You cannot hit them. And it's not a big deal. I know it's just a nitpick. But it's just more of a minor annoyance. My eye keeps catching it and thinking, oops, oh no, I'm going to hit it. But you don't hit it. Okay, pop my bubble there, so I can get in close and just do a lot of damage really quick. Nice. Yeah, the creators of this game have done a fantastic job. They've created a game that just has a lot of heart, a lot of good feel to it, a good vibe to it. It's the kind of game that you can pick up and you can play for 10-15 minutes at the end of your workday, or if you want to sit down and just play through a couple of the systems, you can really put in some time. If you start you start over and start a new game with your same characters, all your unlocks stick, and so as you go back through earlier levels, you'll find that the bosses are much bigger, much more intense, have heavier firepower. So they don't have an official New Game Plus that I've seen yet. However, the game almost has its own built-in New Game Plus. The game is, I want to say I paid $9 for it. Right now on Steam, they've got that introductory, like 10% off. So I'd say jump in and grab the game. I would love to see the community grow for this game. You've unlocked a new mech. Awesome. Let's go check out the mech really quick. So, Bulgior. That's really, really cool. I want to try a quick mission with him. What missions do we have? Destroy an enemy fleet. Unfortunately, you can't just skip through the text and destroy an enemy fleet. That's fine. We'll just destroy an enemy fleet then. We'll give this new mech a shot. Each mech has its own weapon loadout, so you kind of can pick. So this guy does more of slower, heavier damage. Now, I don't know. In this game, because of so many missiles and stuff that come at you, I found the last character the last mech I was using, which had sort of a chain gun, to be extremely effective. And even his melee, it's okay, but it's not super powerful. I'd expect with a character like this with a giant hammer that he could almost be like one-hitting some of these. Yeah, I'm not digging this one nearly as much as the last one. He's slower too. There we go. And the boss is back. Yeah, I'm really I'm not digging him nearly as much as I was digging the last mech that I was using. The last mech has high mobility, and that chain gun is just brutal. It really shreds through enemies' defenses and takes out their limbs pretty quickly. I think this guy might be good if you sunk a lot of. And we're dead. Okay, guys. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for right now. As I said, I really like this game a lot. I'd love to see the player base grow, just because the more players there are, the more of the creations that you build, people are going to be playing against, and the more creations are going to be in the workshop for you to download and play. It's really fun, and I'm pretty picky and pretty critical of games. I've played a lot of space shooters, top-down shooters, and this one just keeps drawing me back. I've only had it now for a couple of days, and I find that I've been playing it even when I'm not doing recordings or anything else. I just keep going back to play this in my spare time. It's a lot of fun. So give it a shot, see what you think of it. Go ahead and support the makers of this game, because, man, there's so many crappy games right now on Steam that come out every single day. Wading through them is getting to be a nightmare, and when there's a good developer out there, I think it's worth supporting them. So thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out for a little while. I really appreciate it, and as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.